Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Friday, August 22nd, 2025. I am Bishop Darrell Watkins, the Senior Minister of the Sunshine Cathedral. With me today is my husband, Bishop Robert Griffin, and joining us is Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell. We are the Queer God Squad. Visit sunshinecathedral.org to learn more about us.
Queer God Squad was created by Hotspots Happening Out to support our mission to explore the value of faith in the LGBTQ community. There is no other progressive queer religious panel discussion show like this in the entire world. You can support this program by liking and sharing it.
In 2025, we are celebrating the 40th anniversary of Hotspots magazine, the 5th anniversary of Queer News Tonight, with nearly 10,000 stories and 10 million views in 2024. We are the largest nonprofit LGBTQ media organization in America, and we encourage you to support our mission to inform, entertain, and educate our community and allies.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. When AI helped tell a sacred queer story. I experimented with a new queer myth. I'm an old pro at queering existing texts and characters. Give me any story and I can find parallels to it in the LGBTQ plus world. But how marvelous is it when we find or create stories that are explicitly about our lives? To that end, I told the ubiquitous and brilliant AI, that's artificial intelligence, to write a short story about an angel whose job is to watch over the queer community. That's all the instruction I gave, other than the name of the angel. I chose Qeshetiel, a Hebrew word meaning angel of God's rainbow, or God's rainbow angel. This is not an angel in lore or literature. I just made it up. What's the Hebrew word for this? That's what it is. So that's the name. Got the name, got the reason for the name, got the idea for the story. Miss AI, take it and run. And she did by cranking out this story. Quote, "The celestial archives hummed with ancient light, but Qeshetiel rarely lingered there. Their true work lay not in dusty scrolls, but in the vibrant, ever-shifting tapestry of human hearts. Qeshetiel, whose name whispered rainbow of God, was an angel of promise, a guardian whose essence shimmered with the very hues of hope. From their perch above the earthly plane, Qeshetiel's gaze often settled on the LGBTQ+ community. They saw the quiet courage in coming out, the fierce joy in chosen families, and the resilience in the face of prejudice. Each act of authentic love, each defiant display of self, added another brilliant thread to the unseen rainbow Qeshetiel wove around them. One crisp evening, Qeshetiel observed a young person, tears streaming, confiding in a friend about their fear of being truly seen. Gently, subtly, Qeshetiel extended a blessing. Not a miracle, but a whisper of strength, a warmth in the chest, a sudden clarity that they were not alone. The young person looked up, a faint smile touching their lips as the friend embraced them. Qeshetiel knew their blessing wasn't about erasing hardship, but about fortifying spirits. It was about reminding each soul that the divine spectrum of love was boundless and that within every heart, a rainbow of God's own making shone eternal." End quote. We can queer the old stories. We can try to crack the code where queerness is hidden. And we can also dream up our stories with or without the help of artificial intelligence. In any case, stories that shine a light on us and reveal the light within us are sacred and needed more than ever today. I wish I'd written that story. I kind of did, but not really. I came up with a name and a plot, and then I said, go with it. And it's so much better than I think I would have done. But I love that. Yeah. So if you can find poets, playwrights, storytellers who are doing this, you can do it yourself. You can tell AI, hey, write me a story. I saw one time when someone said, write a Bible text. And I think it told them back, there's no Bible that says that. But if it would, it might go like this. And it just created like a Bible verse or whatever about, I think, queer stuff. But, God made you gay and it's all good or whatever. Or maybe God made us thou gayest or, whatever. But it was so it's a resource like that. But you can, the power's in the storytelling. So whether you're finding yourself in scriptures, whether you're finding coded, Hollywood used to be great at this. When you couldn't say things and you couldn't do things, there was this code, these codes. And so you knew that that character means this and this phrase means that. And, you know, the sissy character, you knew what the sissy character was, even though maybe they had a wife or, you know, whatever. But it was all coded. And so you figure your time breaking the code, or like the strong, over the top, outrageous, boundary breaking woman was really a gay man, and you know what I mean? So these codes, or you could queer a thing, like we've talked about with vampire lore, coming out of the coffin, coming out of the closet, not being seen in mirrors, but, you know, and then over time you are seen, and all these kinds of things. You can queer what is there, or you can write original things. And if you can't find anything and you can't create it, there's now this miracle called AI. Just tell it what you want. Now, don't claim you did it. Like I started out by saying, I experimented with AI. I didn't write that story. So don't plagiarize. Say, this is AI, but do it and then share it, because it might be beautiful. But the whole point is storytelling. We need to tell our stories where we are the heroes, we are the healers, we are the healed, we are the warriors, we're the sex symbols, we're the good grandparents. We need to tell our stories. And that are about us, and that are sacred, and that are heroic, because those are our inner truths. Myths, stories, parables, fables, even though they may not have happened, I made up the angel that we talked about, made them up. But that angel represents something that's very, very true about God's love being boundless, about there being forces that are encouraging us and cheering us on. That's all true. And so make up outrageous stories that tell our truth. Make up beautiful stories. Make up, action adventure stories. But make up stories that we're the heroes, because in our story we are the heroes. And if we don't know that yet, we get to learn that, and we get to tell it ourselves.
Right. What an incredible, wonderful way of storytelling, really. And in this age of book bans, where we're not supposed to read or that kind of thing because it's whatever. But these are stories that we need to hear and that we want to hear, and we can make them ourselves with the help of AI. So if you're not finding what it is that you're looking for, if you're really wanting to have a story where you can create it yourself, but maybe you don't feel adept at doing that kind of thing, AI is a wonderful tool. It really is, and that's a very cool story. I really like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably not enough gay angel stories and queer angel stories in the world, but now there's one more, and so we can add Qeshetiel to our canon.
And I think how fun for that also little queer person who's just trying to discover something to be able to use this as a resource and like write a positive, affirming story for themselves, and they're coming out process of what they're struggling with. But AI is a gift, and I think it's one of those gifts that reminds us that we can too find ourselves by writing our own stories.
That's right.
I think probably, I'm making this up, the exact number, it may not be even this high, but I would assume that about 75% of the Bible is not factual. The people you're talking about didn't exist, the things that they said didn't happen, and I may be being generous by saying 25% of it did. It might be closer to 15 or 10 or 12. But at the same time, I think about 99% of it is true. Because stories tell truths, they don't tell facts. In fact, if all you ever heard was facts, they'd be so deadly dull. And then facts change. I mean, it was a fact, everybody knew it, that if you went too far in a boat, you'd fall off the edge of the world. And that's not a fact anymore. So if you wrote according to that fact, and when you know more and that's no longer a fact, then your story is useless if it's just about facts. So most of the Bible is stories that somebody made up. And then other people found them useful, other people applied them, other people used them, other people preserved them, other people edited them, other people added to them, other people decided they need to go in a canon of scripture. And it all started with someone making up a story. Make up a story.
Yeah.
Because that's how scripture started out. And your story can be scripture if for nobody else but you. And these human words, God's voice is heard. And that's today with the Queer God Squad.
Before we go, I want to invite you to like and share this episode on your social media. And I also welcome you to find Sunshine Cathedral on Facebook or Instagram.
You can also like our bishop pages on Facebook. My page is Bishop Robert Griffin, D Men, and Darrell's is Bishop Darrell Watkins, D Men. We're also on TikTok. Remember to visit sunshinecathedral.org frequently. There you will find episodes of Bishop Talk, where Bishop Darrell and I interview queer religious leaders and activists and scholars. We've also added a weekly lectionary discussion that you can find on the website and on the socials.
Thank you for joining the Queer God Squad today. We're here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ community is talking about. Sunshine Cathedral is the world's leading progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together. Remember that we're all in this together. Also remember, you are God's miracle and not God's mistake. Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad. Goodbye.